All right. Last game that we're going to talk about is Thursday Night Football. Commanders-Eagles. Eagles win the game 26-18. Top 5 graded Philadelphia Eagles in this game. Guard Landon Dickerson with a 91.7. Offensive tackle Jordan Mailata with an 89.5. Edge rusher Josh Sweat an 89.0. Center Cam Jurgens with an 85.0. Offensive tackle Lane Johnson with an 85.0. What stands out there? Oh, it's 4 of the 5 offensive linemen on the team and the top 5 graded players, and they're all above 85. That'll pretty much get you a win most weeks in the NFL. Jalen Hurts in this one is 74.6. On the other side of things, the Washington Commanders, cornerback Mike Sanders still with the number 1 spot on the list at an 89.0. Tight end Zach Ertz an 84.9. Running back Austin Eckler with a 78.9, linebacker Frankie Louvu a 70.3, and cornerback Benjamin St. Juste a 66.2. Jaden Daniels in this game is 63.9 overall grade. Real quick comment with this one. I'll start with the Eagles. My stat that told the story is just the Saquon offense. They run everything through Saquon Barkley. It is completely about Saquon Barkley. It is getting him the football. It is running the ball very well behind a very good offensive line. And outside of that, they complement the Saquon Barkley offense with an elite, unstoppable short game tush-push, which on 3rd and 3 or anything inside that, you're either getting enough yards to get the first down or you're getting enough yards to then do a tush-push on the 4th down, which you're then going to convert. So that unbelievable high completion percentage there is fantastic. When you get to 3 yards and in on the goal line, Jalen Hurts is scoring a touchdown because you're just going to rush it in, so that's a very efficient. And then the complement of the passing game is you have one of the best one-on-one deep coverage winners in the NFL in A.J. Brown, and then you complement that with Devontae Smith. We're building the entire offense around Saquon Barkley is perfect. It is perfect for this Philadelphia Eagles team. And as much as I was a little bit worried about them like 3-4 weeks ago, I'm less worried about the Eagles down the stretch now than I certainly was last year against the team that had a better record. So this, to me, is all about the Saquon Barkley offense that I wondered, okay, is it going to slow down at some point? Has not slowed down. People cannot figure it out. What they do is so efficient, and they do it with really, really good football players that it's hard to just stop the Philadelphia Eagles on offense. So that's the stat that told the story here, is that the Commanders just ran into one of the best and most efficient offenses in the league.
Well, they may have also – there's several angles to this. They also ran into what is currently the highest graded defense in football. And the Eagles have the highest graded defense in football.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were saying the Commanders have the highest graded defense.
No, they ran into – the Commanders ran into it.
Yes.
This is when they put Cooper DeJean in the starting lineup, and they got these linebackers emerging, and the D-line's a little more sound than it was against the run earlier in the year. No, I think right now the Eagles are pretty clearly the biggest threat in the NFC to the Lions. I'm not even sure it's close. Because I don't think the Packers – unless they really play up, I don't think they can keep up in the trenches. There's nobody in the South, and the West is kind of even. I think the Eagles are very clearly the second-best team in the NFC.
I didn't think that I would say that this year, and I agree with you.
The defense, actually, I had Lions over Eagles in the NFC title game, just in case these 2 rookies on the outside fix this coverage unit.
What would you say? It's Lions, Eagles, Packers, Vikings?
I'd put Packers. I would probably still put Packers 3rd, the Vikings in that spot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Lions, Eagles, Packers, Vikings.
Yeah, I would go there.
Okay.
And then maybe, I might have Washington and Arizona are both fun from there. The threats, at least.
I think the next 2 spots are toss-ups right there.
But I think the Eagles are clearly second. I think the Lions are still a shade ahead of them, and I think the gap after the Eagles is pretty solid. Between with the way they're playing on both sides of the ball. And the big thing, I'm gonna go stat that tells it, and most impressive all in one, because I'm on each side of the ball.
All right, let's do it.
So the stat for this game, I'm gonna go with Washington's offense, because this game was 14-12 pretty late. I'm gonna get to that part because I was irritated Thursday. But we've talked about the run game for Washington and the balance they have. That's what's really made them great. On top of Jaden playing great. Only had 1 explosive run in this game, kind of working this like I did with the Saints. But it's more drastic here. Mm-hmm. In their 4 losses, they have 6 explosive runs total. And 4 of them were Jaden scrambles in week 1 against the Bucs. So their last 3 losses against Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Philly. 3 of the best teams in the league, mind you.
Yeah.
2 explosive runs in 3 games.
Yeah, need more than that.
In their 7 wins, they have 32 This is the difference.
I'll do it.
This is the difference.
It.
When they have the run game going, and Jaden going, and Brian Robinson going, and Austin Eckler going, and the offensive line going, because that's always the big piece here, and I'll get to the other one. Here's a simple fact with this game. Washington got blasted in the trenches. And there's obviously this in-game decisions and all that stuff. The Eagles, what Howie Roseman's built in the trenches with the O-line and all the Georgia Bulldogs on defense and all that stuff, they got blasted in the trenches in this game. First 7 weeks, Washington's offensive line was top 10, ninth in the league. All right? Last 4, they're dead last. Now, again, they've played great trench teams, Pittsburgh and Baltimore and Philly. It gets easier. I think they play Dallas next week. Gets a little easier. But they can't be last. They got to be a little bit better, and they got to run the ball. So that's one side. The other side, my most impressive part, the Eagles' offensive line it's
clearly with the top 5.
Clearly, it's filthy. I mean, Mekhi Becton moving into guard, it's been a godsend for him. Cam Jurgens has adjusted really well at center, back at his natural position, right? And it's no coincidence with Jordan Mailata healthy in this game, and he's back after a few games off. They were struggling at left tackle. I think it was with Fred Johnson playing left tackle. When they've had Mailata on the field this year, they're actually far and away the best offensive line in football. It's like the number, you look at the numbers with him on the field, it's even better than Detroit. Like, clearly. It's crazy the impact that he had this week now that he came back. This game as a unit, as I'm sure you can guess from that top 5, 93.5 overall as a unit, best by any team in any game this season. The Eagles just dominated this game on both sides in the trenches, and that was the difference.
For my most impressive, I'm going to talk about Mike Sainristil, number 1 on the list for the Commanders for a reason. 6 targets in this game. They went after him. Only allowed 3 catches for 29 yards, had 3 forced incompletions on the 3 other targets that went his way. 90.1 coverage grade in this one. Sainristil has just been so impressive to me because I felt like he was a slot corner kind of coming into the league, and now they're very comfortable playing him at wide corner as well. So of the catches that he gave up as well, 2 of them were slant routes versus cover 3. So he's on off cover 3 and a slant route against off cover 3 for an outside corner. I mean, like, that's a beater. Like, you're not really going to be able to time that super well in off coverage unless you're really looking for just that route. Good chance it's just going to get completed. And it did. And it got completed, and he tackled, I think it was A.J. Brown right away. I think it was A.J. Brown twice. And so when A.J. Brown caught the football against Mike Sainristil, it was for small gains on slant passes that are designed to be the coverage that he was in on those plays. So just a really, really good day for Sainristil. And then most disappointing for me, I'll sort of piggyback on what you talked about with the offense. Not really explosive in the run game, not really explosive in the pass game either. And particularly, I think it's just the averages that this team has that kind of worries me. Passing yards per attempt has declined every single week over the last month. And the average depth of target has declined to a season low this past week. Now, there was one week where it wasn't exactly an even decline every single time. I think one of the weeks was kind of like flip-flop. But we've been declining with this Commanders passing attack to where it was a season low average depth of target this past week. You talked about, okay, it's a good Philadelphia defense. We want to tip the hat to him. But for the Commanders, not running the ball on an explosive level, not passing the ball on an explosive level. Cliff Kingsbury, did he fly too close to the sun at the beginning of the season? Was he unbelievable? Was he unstoppable on third down, in the red zone, everything? Could people really not figure out how to stop this Washington Commanders offense through the first 5 weeks of the season?
Well, then people have the Cliff Kingsbury theory.
And now you're kind of like figuring it out here, and he's not really able to adjust. That's going to be a major storyline to watch kind of down the stretch here. Most disappointing? Did you hit on this one?
This was just the first game, like in the last 8-9 minutes, where I actually saw this Commanders team rattled, and I did not understand it all. I know we're analytics people here, and I know a lot of those decisions go into on-field decisions, but first of all, the sequence of play calling, right, when they were moving down the field with Jaden, when they were down 14-12, and it was maybe turning into their best drive of the night. They get to 2nd and 1, they run up the middle. Nothing. Cool. They rush the play to 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, and they run up the middle again, and then I go, okay, that wasn't a great call. Let's kick the field goal and take a lead. And they stay on the field and call some other run where both guards pull and run into each other, and it's a whole train wreck play, and for some reason they didn't just take a lead. And I know a lot of times the short distance situations are, okay, nowadays we're going for it more. And I'm all for that. Like, there's a lot of situations, like the Bills one, love that, love going for it. There's other ones where it's great, but this was one in this slow-paced type of game where you could take a lead And when you're getting beat in the trenches, well, make Jalen Hurts beat you. Jalen Hurts wasn't great in this game. He was decent. I just don't get – that was a moment where I go, it looked like the game sped up on them. And then even in the last 4 or 5 minutes, when they were down 2 scores, yeah, they were down 16. It's low probability. It's probably a 3% chance they're going to win the game. But it felt like then there was no urgency at all. Like they were that last drive where they scored their last touchdown – there was just no, where was like, hurry up and maybe we still have a 1% chance to win this game. I just thought for some reason the last 8-9 minutes of this game, this was the first time I saw a young team with a first-year coaching staff kind of rattled. And again, it's on the road. It's Thursday. And they don't have a bye. It's weird to me. They don't have a bye week till week 14.
Yeah.
So maybe they're a little bit gassed too, and they're just
Could be.
you know what, let's take the extra few days. We're white flagging this game. But I didn't love the last couple sequences from Washington here. I mean, things like this happen.
It was always going to be up and down.
It was just the first time that I especially the sequence where they didn't kick the field goal, I was like, well, that's not what we've seen from them the rest of this year. So believe they're playing Dallas next. Bounce back opportunity if they bounce back.
Sure.
I'm not worried at all.
Right. No, and they were always going to go through a little bit of roller coaster there, but they kind of ran into a buzzsaw of an Eagles team that's playing really well, and that might just be the overarching story there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video, and if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.